There are moments in history when a single soul changes the rhythm of the world, not with armies, not with power, but with presence. These are the rare individuals who walk through fire and never scream, who fall in silence yet rise with strength. They are the ones who discover a truth most never learn, that the greatest empire you can ever rule is yourself. Fame, success, wealth, all of it fades like smoke. But self-mastery, discipline, and calm, those are eternal. This is not a story about celebrities. This is a story about human beings who carried storms inside them, yet never let the storm control their direction. This is the story of 5 cultural icons who lived, struggled, and triumphed through Stoic principles. Focus, discipline, grace, control, purpose. They remind us that greatness is not born. It's built. Built in the silence of pain, forged in the fire of perseverance. Let's begin. Number 1. Elvis Presley, the fire of passion and discipline. He was the sound of a revolution. Elvis Presley, the boy from a small town who changed the heartbeat of the world. But what made Elvis a legend wasn't his fame. It was his focus. Before the lights, before the screaming fans, there was a young man sitting alone in a tiny room. His guitar, his only friend, his dreams, his only map. He practiced until his fingers bled. He rehearsed every move, every line, every beat, again and again. Behind every performance that looked effortless was a man who refused to stop improving. He once said, "Ambition is a dream with a V8 engine." And that's the essence of Stoicism. Dream big, but back it with relentless action. Elvis faced criticism, scandals, isolation. The world adored him, but that love came with a price: loneliness. And yet, he never gave up on his art. Even when his body grew tired, his soul kept singing. He wasn't chasing fame anymore, he was chasing mastery. Stoicism teaches us, don't let success make you arrogant, and don't let failure make you bitter. Elvis embodied both. He fell, he rose, and he kept performing until his final breath. Because passion may start the journey, but only discipline takes you across the finish line. That's why Elvis Presley isn't just remembered as the king of rock and roll. He's remembered as the man who turned passion into purpose, and purpose into legacy. Number 2. Marilyn Monroe, the grace behind the mask. To the world, she was the ultimate symbol of beauty, but beauty was her armor, not her peace. Marilyn Monroe walked through life carrying both light and darkness within her. She was admired by millions, yet truly known by few. She faced a childhood of neglect, a youth filled with rejection, and an adulthood surrounded by fame that never healed the loneliness inside. But she never stopped trying, never stopped believing that she could rise again. She once whispered, "I'm trying to find myself." Sometimes that's not easy. Those words reveal her soul, a woman constantly learning, constantly searching. Marilyn was not just a star, she was a mirror for the human condition. She laughed when her heart was breaking, smiled when she was crumbling, and showed that fragility can coexist with power. The Stoics taught, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marilyn lived that truth, always holding herself to a higher standard even when the world misunderstood her. Behind her fame was wisdom. That grace isn't pretending everything's fine, it's continuing to walk through life with elegance even when it hurts. She showed the world that beauty without depth is hollow, but beauty born from courage becomes eternal. Marilyn Monroe's legacy is not just glamour. It's the reminder that strength can wear a smile, and even in brokenness, there is dignity. Number 3. Bob Dylan, the voice of truth and rebellion. Bob Dylan didn't chase popularity, he challenged it. He walked into the music industry not to entertain, but to enlighten. His songs became sermons, his words the heartbeat of a restless generation. When others followed trends, Dylan followed truth. When others sought fame, Dylan sought freedom. He said, "A hero is someone who understands the responsibility that comes with his freedom." That one line is pure stoicism. Freedom without responsibility is just chaos. Dylan refused to be defined by anyone. He changed styles, sounds, and identities without apology. He won awards, then ignored them. He was booed, mocked, and misunderstood, yet unshaken. Because Stoics don't live for approval, they live by principles. When critics tried to control his narrative, he simply walked away, saying nothing. That silence was louder than any answer. He reminded the world that you don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to speak truth and stand by it. Dylan's songs were not just music, they were resistance. They taught people to think, to question, to awaken. He wasn't perfect, but he was authentic. And authenticity in a world addicted to approval is the rarest form of courage. That's what makes him timeless, not the melody, but the message. Number 4. Bruce Lee, the mind as the ultimate weapon. He was the embodiment of control. Bruce Lee, the man who made motion look like meditation. To the world, he was a fighter, but to himself, he was a student of life, of truth, of self-mastery. He once said, "Be water, my friend." The world repeats it, but few understand it. Water does not fight, it flows, it adapts, it shapes itself to the container, it yields, yet wears down mountains. That was Bruce's philosophy, the Stoic idea of adaptability. You can't control the world, but you can control your reaction to it. He trained his body every day, but his greatest strength was his mind. He studied Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus. He wrote pages about discipline, self-awareness, and humility. He knew that power without control is destruction, so he mastered his emotions the way he mastered his punches, with precision, with patience, with presence. When Hollywood rejected him because of his race, he didn't beg, he built. He created his own path, his own philosophy, his own legacy. That's Stoic resilience, to turn rejection into revolution. Bruce Lee didn't just teach people to fight, he taught them to live consciously, to know themselves and to move through life like water, calm, strong, unstoppable. He became more than an icon. He became a living lesson, that the highest victory is not defeating another man, but conquering your own mind. Number 5. Michael Jackson, the pain behind perfection. And then there was Michael Jackson, the king of pop, the child who became the world's most iconic performer. But behind the lights, the magic, the applause, was a lonely heart searching for peace. From the age of 5, he lived for perfection. Every beat, every note, every dance move had to be flawless. The world demanded greatness, and he gave it again and again at the cost of his own peace. He said, "To live is to be musical, starting with the blood dancing in your veins." To him, music wasn't just sound, it was life itself. But that life came with pain, sleepless nights, endless pressure, and unrelenting criticism. He was adored and attacked in equal measure. But he kept going, because art was his therapy, and performance, his meditation. He turned wounds into rhythm. He turned isolation into innovation. He turned judgment into timeless art. Michael lived the Stoic truth that pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. He showed us that greatness demands sacrifice. That mastery is not born from comfort, but from confronting the parts of yourself that scare you. Even when the world tried to destroy his spirit, he kept giving, kept creating, kept shining. And that's Stoic endurance, to stand tall when your heart is breaking, to keep dancing when your soul is tired, to keep loving when you've been misunderstood. Michael Jackson's music will fade someday, but his example of resilience will not, because true greatness doesn't live on charts. It lives in the hearts of those who refuse to give up. Elvis, Marilyn, Dylan, Bruce, Michael, 5 souls, 5 stories, 5 different paths leading to one truth, the mastery of self. Each of them faced chaos, each of them faced fear, each of them faced doubt, but they did not let it define them. They lived what the Stoics wrote centuries ago. You have power over your mind, not outside events. They could not control fame, they could not control pain, but they could control how they responded, and in that control, they found freedom. Fame fades, beauty fades, even the body fades. But the mind, calm, steady, disciplined, that remains immortal, their stories are mirrors for all of us. Because every one of us carries a storm within, and like them, we have a choice, to be consumed by it, or to learn to dance in the rain. So when life feels too heavy, remember Elvis's discipline. When you feel lost, remember Marilyn's grace. When the world silences you, remember Dylan's truth. When fear grips you, remember Bruce's control. When pain breaks you, remember Michael's endurance. These aren't just icons, they are lessons. They are living proof that Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unbreakable. So stand tall, calm your mind, master your reactions, and when the world tests you, smile. Because one day, someone will look back at your journey and see not your success, but your strength. And that strength will be your legacy.